Congratulations, you made it to the end of the course on your team. I hope you found the lessons within this course really helpful. So, just to recap, we went over speaking up and feedback and what the differences are. Yes, there's crossover, but there's more risk and risk of defensiveness when receiving speaking up messages because they're unexpected and unanticipated. So we need to teach people on how to receive, and we need to teach people how to speak up in view of how to get the best reception. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at typical speaking up training. Really, it focuses on the skill of speaking up. So when you look at speaking up definitions, and we've looked at this at the start around speaking up is the act of speaking up, right? It's raising one's voice and particularly up hierarchy. And I don't think that definition flies anymore because what it's done is informed training associated with it. And the training associated with it is focusing on the skill of speaking up. That is teaching people set words and phrases on what to say. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think this is important because knowing what to say is an enabler of speaking up. And we've seen this not only in my research, but also in other research, right? We want to help people find their voice. But what it has subliminally done is informed training, where all the training is focused on one person, the speaker, and giving them voice to speak up. We talk about the receiver, yet we don't provide them any training on how to manage themselves in these interactions, right? How do you manage that defensiveness and that unexpectedness when someone speaks up to you, particularly in the presence of other people in a public forum, which, let's face it, in healthcare or any service industries, it often is. We have to change how we train. So again, this is where I call on reframing how we train, speaking up and also feedback. So particularly speaking up, it's really around a safety concern, right? Whether that's for the patient, whether that's for a peer, and that can be physical safety or psychological safety. It comes to, yes, equipping people with the voice to speak up, but equally, the receiver is equally accountable and responsible with the speaker to have a conversation and to come to some kind of resolution for that conversation and that raised concern. As a receiver, you don't have to agree with what's been raised, but you need to know how to have that conversation. And as the speaker, your job is not just to say the set phrases. We need to move beyond that. And you need to be willing to listen to the receiver's perspective, and you need to be willing to be wrong. Again, that takes training. That can be really hard and really uncomfortable. So how do we help people do that? Right? It starts with training. Here at Reframing Conversations, based on all the research, we've come up with Reset, Reframe, Engage framework. And if you attend one of our workshops, we take you through this in depth. But it really takes you through how to manage emotions, gives you tangible techniques and why it's important, how to build rapport and how to get better message reception through previewing your communication goals, how to reframe our thinking to make more positive attributions, right? What we think influences what we say. And then how do we engage in that safety negotiation? How do we communicate? How do we get other people's perspectives? That's where also the money is, and that's what we'll take you through. So thank you for joining us in this course. If you are interested in coming to any of our courses, there's more information on the website, but of course you can drop us align. And here are the contact details. So we hope to see you again in some of our other courses. But if not, I hope this course has given you some things to think about and given you a few tools so you can have better conversations. Thank you.